You ain't nothing but a hound dog, you're crying all the time. You ain't nothing but a hound.
Hello, model railroad fans. Welcome to Vintage Road and Rail. Today's episode is going to be focused on Elvis Presley, who is known as the King of Rock and Roll. Elvis Presley, whose full name is Elvis A Presley, was born January 8th, 1935, in a small town in Mississippi called Tupelo. And it kind of depends on your definition of small town. I live in Columbus, which is well over 1 million people, and Tupelo probably has today maybe 60,000 people, something like that. And Elvis, he was known as both a singer and an actor. He was active from 1953 until 1977. Elvis Presley, again, as we know, is referred to as the King of Rock and Roll. He was found unconscious in his home at Graceland, which is located in Memphis, Tennessee. And after he was found unconscious, he was taken to Baptist Memorial Hospital and was pronounced dead at 3:30 p.m. Central Time on August 16th, 1977, and he was relatively young. He was 42 years old, which is 6 years younger than what I will be in a couple of days. And also, on a side note, if you've never been to Graceland, might be worth checking it out. Granted, it's been many, many years since I've been there. I was probably a kid, so it's been a long time, but I still remember taking a tour and getting on his airplane, which is his private jet, I should say, which is down the road a little ways from his mansion and full of a lot of Elvis memorabilia. So anyway, like I mentioned, my birthday's coming up in a couple of days, and I was born August 18th, 1974. So when Elvis passed, I was not quite 3 years old. So his movies and his music, they're a little bit before my time. However, growing up, many of my, family, like my grandmother and my uncles and my mother, they were big fans of Elvis. They loved his music. And so all through my childhood, I heard nothing but about, things about Elvis. And again, not just because I had so much family that was fans, but I grew up in the South, and Elvis was a really big name in the South. And also, Tupelo, Mississippi, I've been there many times, was about 65 miles, give or take, from the small town in Tennessee where I was born. And in Memphis, where Graceland is located, is about 95 miles from, again, that small town where I was born. So, the area I lived in was all about Elvis. A lot of the restaurants, you would see Elvis stuff, they would play Elvis music. So while I wouldn't necessarily consider myself a fan, he does have a lot of songs that I definitely find enjoyable and listen to from time to time. The most notable of which would be Hound Dog and Jailhouse Rock. And I must confess, I'm probably a little bit more partial to Motley Crue's live version of Jailhouse Rock. There's probably some big Elvis fan who may be listening to this that's passing out right about now. I apologize. So anyway, the time I'm uploading this video, it is going to be August the 16th, 2020. So again, August 16th, 2020. I'm sorry, August 16th, 2022. Let me get that right. So being that it's 2022, it's been 45 years since the passing of the King, and this train set that you've been staring at for the past few moments was released in 2002, and it was meant to commemorate the anniversary of the 25th year of Elvis passing. So, now that we brought up the train set, and you've been staring at it for probably about 4 minutes, let's get to this train set. So, we'll take a quick look at the box, and then we're going to get it open. So, right here it says Collector's Edition Series 1. To my knowledge, I'm not aware of a Series 2. And we've got here Elvis Presley. And as we scroll through, it says the King of Rock and Roll. And let's go to this end. And we've got here Love Me Tender custom train set, which that's the name of this train set, by the way, Love Me Tender. And it's kind of hard to get all of this in focus. Let's see if I can back it up to where you can see the whole thing. Hopefully you can see all of that. So the set comes with a deluxe Alco C628 locomotive. This is a 12-wheel drive locomotive. 4 freight cars and a caboose, and it has a numbered certificate of authenticity. Now, something important to keep in mind if you want to pick up one of these train sets yourself, and they're pretty readily available on eBay, and I'm sure you could, I'm sure you could probably find one at a train show, you know, or off of Macari even. To keep in mind though that there is no track or there is no power pack, so you would need to supply that yourself. Which, if you're a model railroader, that won't be a big deal. And then on the back, I don't know if you'll really be able to see this. I'm going to lift up the tripod so you can get a little bit better look. We've got some really nice artwork there. I think that looks really good. So let's set this back down. And now let's get to the main event. So I don't think there's anything. Yeah, the other side is the same. So let's get to the main event here. So let's set this here. And let's come off the tripod. I'll be stopping this here in a moment to get the train set unboxed. So here is our Alco C628. Really nice white and blue. And it's got 2002 on there, which is the 25th year of his passing, Elvis Presley. And then we got our 4 freight cars and our caboose, and each of these has a popular song that Elvis performed. So this first one is going to be Hound Dog. This one here is Love Me Tender. Let's move over to Jailhouse Rock. So you can see 2 of my favorite songs are covered. And then we've got, which one is this one? Oh, Heartbreak Hotel. And then finally, Burning Love. Alright, so that's just a quick look at the box. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the camera for just a few moments because this doesn't just slide open or anything. I've actually got to I don't know how to describe it. It's like the flap is glued, so I'm going to have to break that. But I want to do it in such a way that I don't damage the box, because this was a not a birthday, but a Christmas gift last year from my daughter Mya. So I want to keep it in great shape. I don't want to mess anything up. So give me just a moment to get this opened up, and I'll be right back. I've got the this end over here opened up. So let's slide this set down. And we're going to get this opened up here and take a look at the contents, and then we're going to set it up here on the track and see how well it operates. It's been in this box for 20 years, so hopefully it runs well. IHC locomotives tend to be good performers, so hopefully we won't have any trouble. Uh-oh. Not a big fan of this packaging because it's split into 2 pieces. So let me get a hold of it here. So I do not want to tear this up. Just about got it. So I think. Man versus packaging, and I thought I was going to lose. Alright, so right here we've got some instructions on operating your train set and how to keep it maintained, and there should be a certificate of authenticity in here somewhere. So here is the assembly and instructions. However, you can pretty much ignore this in this particular set because it doesn't have any track. But if you look right here, you can see where there would have been some track and a power pack right here. This is probably what plugs into the wall, I'm guessing. Maybe this is a controller, I'm not 100% sure. And then right here, just got our warranty registration card. And this is our certificate of authenticity. This one's number 2380. So I'm not real sure how many of these were made, but 2,380 is for this set. And beyond the train set, not a lot of extras. Looks like we've got some extra couplers right here. So let's start with the caboose and work our way back to the locomotive. So we got a very Tyco looking, which I believe this is actually a Tyco mold if I'm not mistaken. This is black and yellow, Burning Love. This is a streamlined caboose. So since this is new, everything should be present, so no need to look at that. But I think everything is good and crisp. The lettering looks great, the colors look great. I think that's a very good looking little caboose there. So let's set that to the side. And I believe all these cars are going to be 50 footers. So we've got this Jailhouse Rock boxcar. So again, everything is crisp and very beautiful. I love this color of red. Oop, there we go. So there we got Elvis. And then we got the name of the song, Jailhouse Rock. And it's identical on this side. And then we've got Love Me Tender. There's the song here. And then we've got here where it says Elvis, or well, it's got a picture of Elvis and it says the King of Rock and Roll. And again, this is a very Tyco looking car, especially with the filled in steps. Alright, so now let's go to Heartbreak Hotel. So on this end, we've got a picture of Elvis and a guitar. And then we got the Heartbreak Hotel. Again, the colors are really nice and the printing of these graphics is very crisp. Looks really good. There are definitely no complaints here. Alright, and the final boxcar is going to represent Hound Dog. So we got Elvis performing, and we got the little musical notes around him. This is kind of a beige color. And then we got Hound Dog and a picture of a hound dog. And interesting fact, before I get there, let's look at the other side. Again, really good looking car, good looking set so far. At one point, I believe it was when the NFL expanded and like Jacksonville got the Jaguars, and I can't remember who all got a team, but Memphis was in the considerations in the running to be chosen as a team. I was convinced they should be called the Memphis Pharaohs, but because of the legacy of Elvis, they settled on the Memphis Hound Dogs. Well, we didn't get a team, so I'm not sure if it was the name or they just chose a different city due to demographics or whatever. Alright, so here is the locomotive. And let's try to carefully get this out of here. Well, it's got some really nice weight to it. So this is a C628 by Alco. Looks very, very good. And a couple of videos ago, I looked at a Southern Pacific version of this locomotive. So I'll link that at the end of the video, and I'll try to also put it up here in the corner. But all the detail is molded in. It looks really good. And again, we got the Elvis, the picture of Elvis and Elvis Presley here. All that's good and crisp, and the coloring looks really good. But you can actually see through here, so that's really nice. It's not just molded in. And here's our 12-wheel drive. And the other side will be identical, but let's take a look. And there's there's the back, some more molded in detail. And there's our front. So nothing on the number boards, just some clear plastic there. So that is the locomotive. Looks very good. And did something, oh my lord, something did break. Got jostled around in the packaging. I just saw it sitting right there. And there's where that come from. So I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to want to try to repair that or just put it back in the box, because I'm going to put it away for a while. I may just do that. There's a little groove here. I'm going to drop that in there so it'll stay safe. Alright, so what I'm going to do is clear this stuff off of the table, and let's give this a test run. Hopefully it runs pretty good. These locomotives are pretty solid. So give me just a moment to set up on the track and I'll be right back. I've got the locomotive on the track. The cars are still just sitting here on the table. But I thought before I stressed it out by pulling some cars, we would just make sure it works okay and it runs. But I didn't want to, and then I want to break it in, but I didn't want to break it in before you guys could see, you know, how it works straight out of the box. So let's turn on the power supply here and let's give it a test. Oh wow, it jumped right into action. Look at that. Oh, she's running really good. So we're going to let it make a full lap. Alright, so I'm going to stop right here and I'm going to run this in for about 15 minutes forward and 15 minutes reverse, just to, you know, let it, you know, get broke in a little bit, you know, get the lubricant spread around there, and if I detect a problem I can, you know, address it right away. So let me get that break-in going, and next you'll see the cars will be on the track and we'll give it a proper run-in. I've given the locomotive a really good break-in, about 15 minutes in each direction, and it performed beautifully. Ran great. And I now have our 4 cars and our caboose on the track. But when I was taking a look at the cars and going around them, I did a very bad thing. I made the assumption that they were box cars and didn't notice that these 3 here on the back are actually reefers. So I'm going to get down here and you can see the refrigeration unit on these refrigerator cars. So this one appears to be just a box car, but these others are actually reefers, so that's very interesting. And I really liked that detail that we saw there at the on the one end with that little recessed refrigeration unit. That's a nice little detail. I wonder if in a prototypical car if it's recessed like that or if it sticks out a little bit, kind of like what you would see on a truck. So if anybody knows the answer to that, please let me know in the comments. Alright, so here's our locomotive, and I've got it in forward. So before we hook up to the cars, let's just briefly see how the slow speed is, because this locomotive performs really well. So giving it a little bit of power, and there we go. That is good and slow, and it seems to be cogging just a tad, but that may be more a symptom of my track than anything else. So that is some really good slow speed. I would imagine that you could probably put a DCC decoder in this sucker and she would run great. Alright, so let's bring her back and let's hook up to these cars and just see how the whole set looks running around the track here. Let's go. Oop, a little too slow. There we go, we're hooked up. Alright, let's get down here and get a nice close-up. And that's pretty good and slow. Pulling a load of cars too. Well, 4 cars, I don't know that I would call that a load. Those look very, very beautiful. This is a really nice set. And if you're a collector, this would make a great addition to your collection. So let's just bump up the speed here. And let's just step back and take a good look. So I'm going to let it make a few circuits around the track here, and then I will kind of wrap up the speaking portion of the video, and I'll catch 2 or 3 shots of this at a little bit closer distance going around the layout here. So this is a 4x6 layout. I'm just kind of testing this Bachmann track out to see if I want to stick with it when I expand this layout here in a few weeks. I'm unsure about the switches. But I tell you, that's a beautiful set. Like I said, if you're an Elvis collector, this is a must-have. Absolutely have to have this in your collection. And if you're just like me, one of these individuals that likes to collect the old billboard cars from the 70s, 80s, and even into the 90s, this would fit right in. I also like to collect the promotional and just kind of oddball sets, and this also fits with that. So no matter your model railroading, this definitely could have a place in your collection. Alright, well that's a look at this Love Me Tender anniversary train set by IHC, commemorating the passing of Elvis Presley. This is going to be 2002, so it had been 25 years since his passing. At the time I uploaded this, it's been 45 years, so we're fast approaching the 50-year anniversary of his passing. Alright, well that's enough talking on my part. If you enjoyed taking a look at this train set, do me a favor, hit that like button and subscribe, and hit that notification bell. That way you will be alerted as to when my next video comes up. It won't be long, and I'll be doing an interesting series that's going to be probably fraught with all kind of errors on my part on performing or actually building a real layout instead of just running everything on a train table. Alright, well that'll wrap this up. Like I said, stay tuned for a little bit of extra footage. But until next video, happy model railroading, guys. Take care.